But I've been speaking to a lot of event producers recently. I mean, my market is events. The world I move in is events. And generally speaking, what I'm seeing, and this is just anecdotal, it's not scientific yet, but I'm seeing a lot of, I mean, one of my clients put it really well. She said, I may never have to print a name badge ever again. Right? So actually, very quickly after lockdown, I think a lot of canny event people started doing that thing I mentioned earlier of hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst. I think many people now have embraced the possibilities of online stuff. And while it may never be quite as satisfactory as getting people all together in a room, there are all sorts of benefits to being online. I mean, costs are so much lower. It's so much easier to organize things. I mean, in my world of keynote speaking previously, if you wanted to put on an event, the kind of business conference, I mean, it would be a minimum of 6 months to organize even a basic level, getting 50 people into a room in a hotel somewhere. I mean, minimum 6 months to organize that. For a proper big event, 2 years probably. Whereas now, I mean, you know, if I've got let's say a pharmaceutical client or a financial services client, the government could announce some legislation today, and that company within a fortnight could have organized a conference online, getting together some of the best thinkers in their industry and get them together for 2 hours. They could organize that really quickly now. So I think the event industry is starting to really embrace the possibilities of virtual. And so I don't think we're going to come back from that. I think we'll see lots of what will be called sort of blended or hybrid events. I think that will happen a lot. I mean, my market is the corporate market more. I know that more than anything else. Of course, for some kinds of performers, there'll be a return to family barbecues and small weddings and that kind of thing. And that's not my world. That seems to me a lot of work for not very much money, to be honest. And so, you know, I would only want to do that if I absolutely loved performing at those kinds of events. And some people do. So they'll, you know, good luck to them. That market will come back a bit. Large corporate things. I mean, Facebook and Microsoft announced more than 2 months ago nearly, that they put a hold on all live events until at least July 2021. Mm-hmm. I can't see corporations taking the risk of litigation over apparently forcing people to be at a conference when they could just as easily have got a similar amount of benefit from being at home. But I could easily see, for instance, so one of the problems events people have to face is sponsorship. You know, if you're putting on let's say you're putting on a 3-day conference about sanitation, I don't know. You know, traditionally you'd have to get sponsors for that, and you'd get people in the exhibition hall helping you to pay your costs. And the initial terror when we went into lockdown was, oh my God, how do we get any sponsorship for virtual events? Well, what they realized incredibly quickly was it's probably going to be easier to get sponsorship for virtual events, because the sponsors themselves aren't going to have to pay the costs of sending salespeople to the event. They're not going to have to build the exhibition booth. They're not going to have to, print loads of handouts to put on seats at the conference that people just chuck on the floor anyway. Now in a virtual event, if you're a sponsor, you can say, well, I want my 30-second intro video playing before every session. I'd like the email. I'd like everyone to have to tick a box to say they're happy for me to have their email addresses so I can send every single person who attends a message. I'd like my 3 minutes for me speaking to camera in the middle of this event. You know, they can get loads more value. So we're likely not to be going back from that. And the last thing in terms of hybrid blended events is I can see a sort of possibly a business emerging where people might pay for a ticket to the live event, but that will be a really big, exclusive, like leadership level luxury thing. And you pay, I don't know what, you know, $3,000 for a ticket. And if you're senior in a business, you go, but you also get 10 virtual tickets for your team for that price.
Right.
And they tune in virtually.
Right.
So there's 30 people in a room, but it's being broadcast to 30,000 people, potentially. I can easily see that emerging as a model, possibly.